EIDL reconsiderations for unsatisfactory credit history heat up. This is a Tuesday, May 19th update. Thanks for tuning in. This is LALATE. As always, like and subscribe to this channel and drop your comments below, and we may feature them in Wednesday's recording. But first, the news. Lots of you have reached out to LALATE in recent hours about your EIDL denial letters. Yesterday, in Monday's recording, LALATE expanded our channel to now feature 3 EIDL stories per day: EIDL Grant, EIDL Loan, and EIDL Reconsideration. This series on the EIDL Reconsideration addresses your questions and concerns and rules regarding processing a reconsideration. It is not a slip-slop, put-together letter that you send over. And Monday we detailed that you really have to formulate, put together, and process for SBA new information that they may not have had in processing your denial. Let's back up. A lot of you have asked about the denial itself. As we indicated to you, you do not have a denial until you actually receive the denial letter. It's a letter in PDF format that comes via SBA by email. It's in that letter that will say the reason that you were denied for an EIDL loan. Now, as LALATE in a bombshell on Monday revealed, even when you do a reconsideration and may prevail on the grounds that you were denied on, SBA can default to another reason that your loan should qualify for denial. So when processing your paperwork to get a reconsideration effective and winning, you should focus on not only the new grounds for overcoming your denial, but ensuring that there's not another grounds for denial back behind it. So let's turn right to your questions. Yesterday, after our story broke, someone sent us a direct message and said his Experian credit score was approximately 610, 620, and that he was denied a EIDL loan for his business. His business appears on the denial letter, which he sent us a copy of, for unsatisfactory credit history. The question is really, is 610 or 620 unsatisfactory credit history? There are 3 things that you need to consider. First, the time and manner in which the credit check occurred. You're allowed to do a reconsideration within 6 months after the denial, so your credit may go up. The credit was done against him individually, even though it was not done against his business. You can certainly argue that your business has a better credit history than you individually. Second, you can support information that perhaps the credit itself is disputable. Now, you may not dispute the actual Experian credit score, but you may dispute the issues that are contention. SBA is lending based upon its comfortableness, its safety with your repayment schedule. Third, you can actually get your credit score raised, and during that time, if it gets raised, then you can submit that as new information to SBA. So let's turn to your 35 comments and really a well-watched video on Monday. Thank you for tuning in and making that a exceptionally popular video, EIDL Reconsideration. James Matarazzo, the disaster loans means for hurricane tornado. The government shouldn't be asking you for credit after your house has been trashed. Same concept, but I like the language in the bill that any grants would be denied on credit. So James has a great point. When you are denied for unsatisfactory credit, you can make an argument that, hey, here's my credit score before the disaster hit, and it was a lot better. The reason why the credit is bad is now because I can't meet my obligations. That's absolutely new information. Lee says, for your viewers, the guy who's the program director and policy director of the SBA, he's the one sitting on these guidelines and changing the grant and loans limits to streamline credit information. Here's his email. It was not easy getting it, but he should be the main guy making the decisions. Hopefully everyone addresses him. His name is Jerome Edwards, and his email is jerome.edwards@sba.gov. We don't know if that is a true and correct email address or that he is that person we fully disclose. We're just repeating someone's comment, which is already public. Amy Perkins, I'm very frustrated they're doing a reconsideration when there's still millions of applications that haven't even been initially processed. This has been a mess since day one. Very well said, Amy. Tiffany Williams, I was denied for unsatisfactory credit. So Tiffany, watch this video, watch yesterday's video, and watch our series on this. We will be updating you more about how to do this reconsideration. You have time to do it, so don't rush and file unless you're comfortable with what you're learning from this channel. Kenya Safari. Mine was said by credit score. The SBA officer told me because of stuff was actually the wording that was written. Why am I the only person that is mentioning FEMA? Why did he tell me to contact FEMA? You know, Kenya, I really don't know. You're the only person of the 500 plus comments we get daily that had someone from the SBA address FEMA. I would speak to another representative from SBA. GD. On PPP forgiveness, the EIDL grant is subtracted from what can be forgiven. Well, thank you for that. Mervyn Secure. I spoke to a Tier 2 agent today, and I've called often, but today was the first day when he asked me the question if I have a PPP loan also. I was starting to take it back because I felt like the information would just be used to support denying me for the EIDL loan. I've been calling Tier 2 for the last 2 weeks, and that question was never asked before today. So I don't think it's part of the initial verification process when you get to them on the phone. Good point, but I really don't think that's the issue. I don't think you're going to be denied for an EIDL loan based upon a PPP application already out there. Trace Wash. I called Tier 2, and they told me that FICO score is too low, and that's why I was denied. At the time, it was about 550-ish, and now it's about 620. Good point, but the person who contacted LALATE in private chat overnight had about a 610, 620, and he was denied. I think his name was Trevon. Well, I'm ready to file reconsideration. I'm not sure if I'm ready to file reconsideration. Well, maybe until the score gets higher. I think the SBA has been working against us since day one. Changed the $10,000 to $1,000 per employee. Now they're going through applications, denying most of them based upon pre-COVID conditions. I'm sorry, all businesses should have shuttered their doors as a result. Very good point. I would stay with it. If you can pull your Experian credit score before the COVID-19 and wait till the Experian credit score goes higher, or do some online methods to get that Experian credit score higher, I would just put it together and do that reconsideration then. No rush. You don't have to do it this week. Tom Schwab, I received a denial letter on Saturday morning. SBA pulled my credit. SBA said my credit was 561 when they pulled it. My credit is actually 6119. Okay, so here's a bombshell. 7 minutes into this recording. Tom Schwab, you are not the only person who is watching this channel who has gone to the denial for unsatisfactory credit and was told your credit score is different than what it actually is. Now, what's interesting is that you said SBA said my credit was 561. I want to know how they said that to you, because the letters that we've seen for denials state the denial is basically Experian credit score. They don't state the actual credit number, but 619 is interesting. Now, you detail you run an asphalt business, cash flow 300K, 50% margin. Wonderful. I sent them so you sent them an email 2 hours later and mailed the reconsideration as well as a fax, as SBA Contact suggested to do. When I pressed the SBA Contact a credit check and why I haven't received a free grant, he had no answer. You're not getting a free grant. As we reported in a Bombshell Sunday repeated again on Monday, if you did not receive an EIDL loan, you're no longer getting a grant. They changed it again. I attached a Reddit comment that was almost the same. Thank you for all your great videos. They're very helpful. I called today 3 times. I spoke with a lady who said she was going to send to a supervisor as we're speaking, and she had calls, wouldn't get specifics why they're similar nature. They're similar nature because of what's going on this channel. I'm telling you right now, I have a lot of people contacting us to say that the credit score that they pulled was wrong. Sometimes it's wrong by 100 points, sometimes it's wrong by 50 points, but it's wrong by a lot. Walk in love. How about unsatisfactory credit history? You received the $1,000 grant. Yes, same issue. Just because we received the grant doesn't mean that you're going to get the loan. But for unsatisfactory credit history, watch the remainder of this video and stay with us for tomorrow's update. Wayne Rogers, my denial was for unsatisfactory credit history. Bobby Davis, I think you are overlooking LALATE. The government did not check my credit score when the government put me out of business. Why don't you address that fact? This is your government picking winners and choosers. It is not my government. Cruz Juan, Thank you. Thank you. You have been so helpful. Well, thank you, Cruz. Thank you for tuning in. I was told it was a low credit score. However, when they shut my business of 6 years, they didn't ask me what my credit score. I'm so frustrated, and I've been doing well until they shut me down. Help! I've been taking available credit off my credit card, so there's a reason why I have a lower credit score. Awful, awful. First of all, if it's your business, apply for PUA. Please watch our PUA channel, our PUA series, Cruz. It may help alleviate the trouble. Second, I would make the contention that your credit score is better than when COVID-19 hit. This is just not fair, Cruz. Marina's on. I did send the email for reconsideration since May 8th. Never received an email saying they had received my email, which is a shame. Stay with them. I don't think they're going to confirm that they received your reconsideration. Jersey Michael. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Jersey. I received my grant on April 30th and on May 14th. Pulled my credit May 17th. They said my loan was pending for a loan officer and I should check the status. I wanted to know, is this a good sign? Yes and no. I mean, sometimes loan officers are reviewing them in a manual fashion. The fact that it's not automated is not a bad sign. But stay with us. I want to know what happens. El Shaddadi, what if the date on the letter when I got it, plus what if the date on the letter matches when I got it? Plus I'm waiting on the grant. El Shaddadi. So El Shaddadi has a great comment. A lot of you indicate that the denial letter you're receiving is not matching when it's actually sent. That it's like weeks old. It is what it is. I don't think it's really much that you can argue about. I don't think there's grounds for reconsideration. You're not getting the grant. As we said in yesterday's recording, if you have not received the loan, you're not getting the grant anymore. Very windy day here. David Miles, called today regarding the grant. Someone told me to look separately at the grant. A loan declined because of credit, no grant. Just got the denial this morning. David, stay with us. Tell me what the denial was for. Jersey Mike, by the way, my grant was 3K. Well, glad you got it. Elvis Pringle, the CARES Act has clearly been overruled by the SBA, so we're all in trouble. Absolutely. SBA has really digressed from what the CARES Act called for. Have faith pressure wash. I just got an email from SBA today saying I had duplicate applications, which I did, and I messed them up on the old lady, and the lady told me to reapply, so I did. SBA said the early application will be processed, and the other ones will be withdrawn for active consideration. Well, that's good. Stay with it. I want you to make sure that only one application is processed for you. I don't want you to get denied because there's two applications on file for you. Andrew, hey, why don't you show that? Yeah, it is being shown. Mario Gutierrez, applied March 30th for my primary business credit pulled. April 17th, called several times over the last 4 months. May 14th was told it's still in review. So on Mario was told on May 14th his loan process in review was still under review. Then he got a denial letter on May 16th, but it's backdated to April 17th. So on May 16th, he got a denial letter, Mario Gutierrez, but it's backdated to April 17th due to a credit score. But in the meantime, I applied when it was open as agricultural business for our side animal rescue operation and got a grant and a loan within a week, same credit. Oh, boy. So he applied for a grant and loan and the old process got denied, but he said he qualifies for agricultural and applied for a grant and loan last week and got approved for both. Well, there you go, Andrew. Lori Toller, got a hold of them today and was told I was still being reviewed, and then I got an email said I had multiple applications. Oh, no. And they were withdrawing the last application, processing the early one. I made it clear when I wasn't interested in the loan. So I'm curious how long it'll be now before it's being processed. Really hard to say. We had said 2 to 3 weeks after receiving the grant, you will get the loan offer. They seem to be going slower than that. But if you don't get the grant offer, they're still processing these loans. Primary Tyson. I applied March 31st, so he's the 31st Vortex, 331 Vortex, never received anything. Today, March 18th, I was told to decline because of unsatisfactory credit. Now I applied as of my business using my EIN, and my business credit file is less than 2 years old. I had no negative remarks. Interesting. What is your credit score, Prime Me, and what's your business's credit score? That is fascinating. Get that ready for a great reconsideration letter. I think you may have a good argument there. But remember, Prime, you have to receive the denial letter before you process a reconsideration. Monique, What if I was denied on April 14th and didn't receive an email? I called SBA and they wouldn't not give a reason or send me another email saying why I was denied. Oh, so that's a great question. You aren't denied until you actually receive the email denial letter. So if you haven't received it, you can call SBA and say, hey, where's my denial letter? Leaves. Reconsideration loans are going to be the last applications the SBA will look at. I wouldn't count on getting a loan. I wouldn't count on getting a grant. I wouldn't count on anything from SBA at this point. Audrey, I applied on March 29th, but I don't want to be defeatist, but everything is just all over the place. I wouldn't guarantee or rely or hope. This is so fluid, it changes by the minute. Audrey J, I applied on March 29th and I still not heard anything from SBA. So a 329 Vortex person. I've called countless times and given applications. Still, nothing has been done. I would tell them to put a note on your file. This is too long. TCH. What a crock, SBA. Thanks, LA. I love your videos. Well, thank you, TCH. Please update me and tell me what's going on with your file. Jean-Baptiste called SBA today, and an agent said that the only thing she can do on my application is that she can pull my credit, but I haven't noticed that my credit report was checked daily. My application was dated 4/6. I have not received anything from SBA. Have not even received a grant. Wow. The agent told me what I've heard before, and that I should see something by the end of the week. Stay with it, Jean-Baptiste. I appreciate your comments on this channel on a daily basis. Stay with it. Greek Sun, great screen name. As for the PPL getting denied for bad credit, I'm in an EIDL Facebook group. Many people have been approved with a 500 credit score, while 600 and above scores have been denied. Absolutely true. We've had that on this channel as well. Rosamond Karim, no job due to COVID-19. Blackwood, these denial letters are via email or actual mail. I don't know about actual mail, but they are definitely coming via email. Jewel, thank you for your comments on a regular basis, Jewel. LaJewel. LALATE. Hey, LALATE. I got an email from SBA evening saying I have multiple applications. They're going to withdraw the last one. I applied March 30th to April 6th. Surprisingly, my dad received a denial letter by email May 15th, but an actual PDF letter in the email was dated April 15th. Neither of us got to receive them grant of money. This is a bombshell. Contacting my congressman. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. So tell me what happens. A lot of you are getting these denial letters that are backdated by a month. Sherelle. So I received a denial letter just for unsatisfactory credit. The most baffling thing was the letter was backdated to April 21. Here we go again. And why am I just getting this denial letter? Because it's SBA. Zibby. I spoke with 2 tier representatives. One hung up on me. Oh no. After telling me to wait for my email, the application was being processed. After they hung up on me, I spoke with another representative who's nicer, but she said the same thing. I explained to them I haven't received my notification. Coincidentally, this evening I received an application decision letter. The letter stated that it was denied due to unsatisfactory credit history. Now I don't know what to do. The letter says I can do a reconsideration. Don't know what to do? Stay with this reconsideration series. Watch Monday's video, watch today's video, and we'll have one tomorrow as well. Makeup Mova. It looks like the SBA is trying to cover their tracks. These letters are dated for a random date in April. Most of us haven't received an email on 5/2. The SBA is really having history rewritten. It's about what you can prove, not what actually happened. This is dreadful. Nothing can worse making people feel helpless. Absolutely true. Here we are. Y'all started on this channel watching with the EIDL grant. Some of you got, some of you didn't. Then we went to the EIDL loan. Some of you got the loan, some of you didn't. Now we're at the EIDL reconsideration. 3 topics in one problem. Thank you for joining us for our second day of the EIDL reconsideration. I want to know why you were denied. Most of these comments were unsatisfactory credit history, but we had received a lot on Saturday and Friday before we started the series about other topics besides unsatisfactory credit history. That's not to say that the reconsideration is stronger or weaker. If you're staying with this channel on this unsatisfactory credit history and reconsideration processing, we will guide you further as to how you do it. You have 6 months from the date of receipt of the letter. Now, some of you are worried maybe this is backdating. I mean, I would certainly consider 5 months from the date of receipt. But if you have any comments, join us in live chat this evening after this recording, or drop your comments below, and we may answer them drop your comments below by 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, Wednesday, and we may feature them in that recording. As always, stay with LA for more.